Oh, hi! Welcome to MI Cinephile with your host, Frank Farrow, the show where we review movies and TV series from all around the world. Alright, guys, frankly speaking, folks, I myself am not what you would call brave, even for a 22-year-old. So when I'm in the theater watching a horror flick, you betcha, I'm gonna probably be screaming my lungs out like, ah, like a little girl. And yes, people sitting beside me do tend to laugh at my face. So I gotta let you know that I went to a great extent here putting my brave face on to make this magnificent list of horror films for you to hopefully enjoy and maybe scream a little like I did. Alright, my dudes and dudettes, without further ado, let's get to it. So on number one, we got Love and Monsters Made in the US of A with Dylan O'Brien, which came out earlier this month in the 16th of October. Number two is The Platform, filmed in Española from Spain, released back in March of this year. The third one is In Black and White, the first ever Iranian vampire western released back in 2014 called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Ooh, kind of spooky. And the last but not least is a film from South Korea called The Tale of Two Sisters, released all the way back in 2003, a psychological, scary horror movie that will shake your bones. Okay, let's kick off with our first movie on our list, Love and Monsters. Dylan O'Brien plays Joel, a 24-year-old who was 17 when the world ended. The Earth's nations joined forces to destroy an incoming asteroid, but the toxic fallout from all the nukes they shot at it turned animals worldwide into giant, distorted monsters. 95% of the human population was killed within a year, with survivors hunkered out in subterranean colonies that interact only via radio. Tragically, this happened just as our main character Joel was bonding with his girlfriend Anne May. The two were separated in the chaos, but he recently discovered she survived. Having made contact with her colony and heard her voice on the radio, Joel impulsively decides to leave safety and make an 85-mile trek so he can finally reunite with her. Love and Monsters is the new film directed by Michael Matthews and starring Dylan O'Brien as the main character, Joel Dawson. You might know O'Brien from the Maze Runner trilogy or the CW series, The Teen Wolf. Alongside O'Brien's character is Michael Rooker as Clyde Dutton. Rooker is a famous actor for his portrayal of Yondu from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and known for the iconic line in the second Guardians movie, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all." The movie has also Jessica Henwick as Anne May, Joel Dawson's true love, and the young Ariana Greenblatt as Minot. Currently, Love and Monsters is rated 92% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7.1 stars on IMDb. Shot on a $30 million budget with the Paramount Pictures behind productions, this movie was clearly meant for the big screen, but due to the current circumstances with the corona pandemic, it was pushed aside to streaming online. Even though the budget it's made on is relatively smaller compared to most Hollywood blockbusters, Love and Monsters stands strong as a film with great elements of horror, thriller, action, comedy, and romance. 1 minute you're trembling in fear from the monsters about to pee your pants, then another you're like, oh, that's so sweet, and just laughing because it has so many funny, adorable moments. Then another you're like, hide, do something, Joel, the monster's about to get ya. Then you start breaking down crying because it gets really sad. But anyway, guys, honestly speaking, I haven't seen this kind of movie in such a long time. Now we are at the second movie on our list, The Platform. Can't believe I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm actually doing this. Well, in a dystopian future with absence of resources, people can freely go into the hole, a vertical underground jail where, after an interview to check the possible admission, the volunteer passes a determined time in exchange to acquire more social status. Hoping to get approved, Gorang wakes up in the level 48 to discover the whole structure. Only one cell of 6 meters height per level, with a rectangular hole in the middle in all them, used by the hole's administration to descend a 2 rectangular floating platform with the food for all prisoners down from the level 0. The restaurant in the surface where food is cooked to the bottom standing 2 minutes per level, with veteran Tismasi as cell's partner. Goreng learns eventually the hole's main rule. First, inmate arrives the hole with personal object to choose from the exterior. Second, the inmate can't keep food off the platform under the penalty to die by extreme heat or cold. And third, only one time per month, all inmates are asleep, using gas in order to exchange all them of level. Upper levels get more food, and lower levels get less. And the lower you go, the lesser food you get, or maybe sometimes none.
Why'd you do that?
It's for them to eat, and the ones below.
What if the ones above did the same?
Of course they did. If you try to keep things, then they'll crank up the heat until the flesh will fall off our bones, or they'll freeze us to death. Depends.
In this movie, there are monsters. Well, not things with fangs or wings or claws, just people. In this horror movie, people are monsters, portraying ways how we can turn on each other to survive, and how hunger can bring one to insanity. The film was directed by the famous Spanish filmmaker Galder Galdu Ontera, starring Ivan Maxnu as Gotang, named after goreng, which means fried in Malay or Indonesian, and alongside Zorian Ugela as Trimgasi, named after Term Cash, which stands for thank you in Malay or Indonesian, and Antonia San Juan as Imori, named after Imogiri, Emilio Bule Kuka as Barat, named after Barat, which means spice in Arabic, used in Middle Eastern and Turkish and Greek cuisines, Alexandria Muskanke as Mushkru, which means to see in Japanese. This horror sci-fi thriller movie was intended for streaming online and had gotten $1 million in the box office internationally. It had gotten 79% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7.0 stars on IMDb. Moving to the third movie on our list is A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. The story begins with Arish, an urban hipster type, losing his prized vintage Thunderbird to his father's heroin dealer, who is also a brutally abusive pimp. But a mysterious young woman, Sheila, a vampire who prowls like an avenging angel in a black chador, takes matters into her own hands and metes out justice. In the course of his own nocturnal rambles, Arish encounters the woman, and a tenuous relationship develops. Emperor's widescreen, high contrast, black and white images heightened the familiar mood of low rent, high style, but his greater gift is choreographic. She amps up suspense through the actor's sinless glides and dreamlike stillness, and she conjures the magic with the rhythms of a few striking cuts. The female drama offers a powerful symbolic display of feminine power and outlaw charm, a scene involving a young boy whom the vampire terrifies, suggests a Woody Allen-like dark comedy that promises a lifetime of neurosis and the new generation of gender wars. In Farsi, the film was written and directed by Anna Lily Ampur and starring Sheila Vand as the girl, Arish Mandi as Arish Marshall, Manish as Hossein, Dominic Raines as Sahid, Mohsen Morno as Ati, Rome Shadanlu as Shada. The horror thriller romance and drama film made $628,000 USD in the box office and got 96% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7 stars on IMDb. The last but not least is our fourth film, The Tale of Two Sisters. In a pristine sanatorium, a doctor interviews a silent young woman about her memories of that day. Dissolves to a car journeying through summertime landscape and 3 people getting out when they reach a wooden house, an idyllic lakeside setting. Father Moo Hyung and daughters Sumi and Soo Hyung waiting inside, a greeting as warm as prison wardens is young stepmother Jun, whom Sumi is openly hostile. From their frosty exchanges with Anju, it appears the sisters have spent a while away from home, undergoing treatment for some unspecified illness. The younger one, Soo-hyun, is still apprehensive and fragile. The first hour and a half is a tour de force with pure psychological atmosphere, with the house full of subdued colors and with a low-key gothic flavor, almost a fifth character. The father seems emotionally bruised and detached with the sisters and are a tightly knit pair, with Sumi comforting Soo-hyun when the latters think she hears things in bed that night. Subsequent variety of chills, red herrings, and mysterious references between characters, which aren't explained to the viewer, begins to wear thin until the introduction of 2 other characters, which leads to a genuinely creepy sequence of haunting. When Anju finally snaps at the girl's constant hostility and locks a screaming Soo-young in a creepy closet in Soo-young's room, the script suddenly shifts the goalposts with a clever twist. While maintaining its controlled style, Pick adds more overt horror prior to its second twist and final explanatory reel. This horror movie was directed by Kim Jin-woon and starring Im Sung-young as Bae Soo-mi, Moon Gyung-young as Bae Soo-young, Yum Jung-ah as Hyung Anju, Kim Kap-soo as Bae Hoon-hyung, and Lee Hyung-bi as Mi-hee, Young-jo's sister-in-law. Park Mi-yeon as the first wife and Sumi's mother, and Soo-young's mother, Woo Ki-hong as Sanju, Yeonju's brother. The movie earned $1 million in USD in the box office internationally and had gotten 85% on the Rotten Tomatoes and 7.2 stars on IMDb. And that's a wrap, you guys. The end of my review of the 4 horror movies on my list. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. And please like and follow our MIRadio page and comment on our post to tell us what you think about the movies and tell us what other movies you'd like me to review. And as always, I'm your host, Frank Farrow. Stay tuned and stay entertained on MIRadio. Thank you so much. And guys, until next time, see you again.